Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds of a beautiful peaceful sky. For the such a long time, for the helping of a heard truly, for the curtains away, for the discovering of the pleasant musical voice, for this to be the boisterous dreams and broken thoughts, for this so vigorously shared with the scenic nights and the delightful as a part of the life of the learning to calm it swell. Flames unending for the well, for the rage and always rising and striking out, for the unable to shout, the inflict for the wounds of the have and the hollow, maybe for the only mercy learned to swallow, control. Swallow whole by the melting for the elements and only by own coals. And fragment of the mind for the mind clouded inside those thoughts and those will become the part of the illuminated move for the least impact, that for the lighting up for the pathway walk. Collecting dust now for the even for the pressure now for the into a dot and diamond for the this to be hard I try for this to be the moon everything the physical starting into the air for the harsh and the putting us and keeping us back together for the nobody tell you that sometimes it's an effort, isn't it? Maybe the stars running out for the nuclear fuel for this to be the mass and the flow to the cure core. Love you for the breaking heart no matter whatever I can't for the maintain that anymore for the can't keep going for the start collapses and supernova exposing the collecting and dust and now it's starting over. But it would rearrange the constellations and if you spell love in every language for the hunted hearts. Stars, I see them and couldn't count them all for these moments that I come and I don't expect for this bright stranger smiles at me for the watching of people that you can have that lives and souls buried upon that smile that I couldn't imagine only one for the it would pass them someone for the street to wonder who are they, how are they, and how I see the stars for the I don't know them for the how keep it shining and not know me. Hunting in the night for the curse of the brows, and this is scavenging through the dancing trees and looking for the prey, for the lurking at every corner for the heavily starry shadows, and this will be the only by our side for the never to go straight for the way of the world, for the into the wild, for this our escape for the nights getting darker, for the each with other, for the find a drake, for this the other the love of life, for this is from above, for the making them wish you can else find you such a love. And when those stars cry, you don't wanna make you. For the dust to be the shining, for the you can find greedy, for the broken hearted, for the one in you. Seemed only in that dream, for the veiling, for the one in you. So bad for the nights, the nocturnal, for the morning, for the mournful. Maybe the happening, for the about you, for the moving away from you, for the pretending, for the hating, for the only expressive, for the broke, for the shattered, for the only that's the stardust. Me as happy as a human, caught up in those tears, and this is the one day and nights with you are all phase of fear. For this the happiness I share, for the tears and spares, so you are greedy enough. You would be the navigation, blind enough senses for the out, for the armless, for this behind the brightly, for the silk screen, for this to be the only shadows we be warned about, for the unlawful penetration, for the delicate enforcement fields, and those to be the asteroids, and devastating for the how star souls can collide, for the leaving behind the broken parts, and this will be how to navigate those cosmos alone. Eyes open to fear, for the will making their way back, for the someday for the scores of smoking, having her left at the bottom of the greater behind, that's the unforgiving of. Trail of dust for the candle's passions, and enduring inferno for the ceiling and the star and is coiled inside of the fervor for the making each kiss counts for the each touch, undeniable for this until eternal illumination. You will find the fragments of the mind getting darker that she was only getting afraid for supposed to be haunted by the knife of the wooden to cross them for the back home for the looking at what was hiding for the prospect for the light in front of them for the flashlight inside of that for the running over the batter for the only getting the person in sight, hugging her. Not to worry for the stars to guide you. They're so far away for their light years. Putting the hands in the pocket, I'll show you. Illuminated for the liking to the stars and the radiance inside that all for the light for the stars in pocket, guided by home. Astray is enough for the pawn that breast, for the pawn every night when clouds are reached that little release in the whisper upon those words when the holy comfort. You could have touched the scars, but it would rearrange the constellations if you spell love in every language for the hunted hearts. Touch the scars, but it would rearrange the constellations if you spell love in every language for their hunted hearts. Stars, I see them and couldn't count them all. For these moments that I come and I don't expect for this bright stranger smiles at me for the watching people that you can have that lives and souls buried upon that smile that I couldn't imagine. Only one for the it will pass someone for the street to wonder who are they, how are they, and how I see the stars for the eye that don't know them, for the how we keep it shining and not know me. You go hunting in the night for the curse of the brows and this is scavenging through the dancing trees and looking for the prey, for the lurking in every corner for the heavily starry shadows, and this will be the only by our side for never to go stray for the way of the world, for the into the wild, for this is our escape, for the nights getting darker, for the each with other, for the finding drink, for this the other love of life, for this is from above, for the making you wish you can else find you such a love. And when those stars cry, you don't want to make you, for the this will be the shining, for the you can find greedy, for the broken hearted, for the one in you. Seemed only in that dream, for the veiling, for the one in you. So bad for the nights, the nocturnal, for the morning, for the mournful. Maybe the happening, for the about you, for the moving away from you, for the pretending, for the hating, for the only expressing, for the broke, for the shattered, for the only that's the stardust. She is as happy as a human, caught up in those tears, and this is the only day and nights with you are all phase of fear. For this the happiness I share, for the tears and spares, and you are greedy enough. You'll be the navigation, blind enough senses for the out, for the armless, and for this behind the brightly, for the silk screen, for this will be the only shadows we be warned about, for the unlawful penetration, for the delicate enforcement fields, and those will be the asteroids. And devastated for the how star souls can collide, for the leaving behind the broken parts, and this will be how to navigate those cosmos alone. Eyes open to fear, for the will making their way back, for the someday for the scorch of smoking, having her left at the bottom of the greater behind, that's in the unforgiving of you. In those trail of dust for the candle's passions, and enduring inferno for the ceiling and the star and is coiled inside of the fervor for the making each kiss counts for the each touch, undeniable for this until eternal illumination. You will find the fragments of the mind getting darker that she was only getting afraid for the supposed to be haunted by the knife of the wooden to cross them for the back home for the looking at what was hiding for the prospect for the light in front of them for the flashlight inside of that for the running over the batter for the only getting the person in sight, hugging her. Not to worry for the stars to guide you. They're so far away for their light years. Putting the hands in the pocket, I'll show you. Illuminated for the liking to the stars and the radiance inside that all for the light for the stars in pocket, guided by home. Astray is enough for the pawn that breast, for the pawn every night in clouds to reach that for little release in the whisper upon those words from the holy comfort. No form of grand for the maid, for no king, for that to be the piece that I've learned for the years, and those are shortcomings and to sing those lullabies in which in each run. Reach for the reed and the seaside cliffs, and those are the factors of the stars, and to be healed by the whole. Then for my heart heavy and me, for I cast it away, for the joint in the ocean, for the ebony, and once I knew, for the once and again, for the ladder, for the souls and lost of light. I barely be lighting and slowly dialing for the stars and shine for you, for the not to be already tired, for the circulating, for the varying, for the hue, for this to be the wishing to provide, for this and never easy, with it only a waste that built. Rocks it, collide, or now for the never felt. Now I want us to the sparkle and speaks this way for the answers. Coercion others are not to be caring so much for the ignorance and choosing to what to die, to selfishness for the light weakening almost those for the darkness and innocent only never fair for the stealing having to fight. This for the night for the stars and the heartbreaks of the shines, the ball glittering, glamour for the dim, inviting those into the right road for the star for the children to be heard, for this to be looking abundantly admiring. See that for the glimpse, this and nobody remembers. She's forgotten all too quickly for these thunderstorms and these dark nights, for the children forgot something that brings out that hope. This is the abyss of the endless demise, and this is turning into a dose and sucks into the desperation of this being the cloud sky. Looking up to see nothing but the heart growing, only waiting, hoping. Continue dreaming and wishes are not that for the grown-ups, and they say for this would be the looking for the dismay, for the science, it's only the glitter, for the glamour, for the spite, that twinkling, for the glimmering spectacle of a heart, for the weeping of what you could go thinking and a doom forever. And not that for the dreams of fate, or for the parallel universe, perhaps, and after the dreams of you. Heavenly should be untrue for the feeling you felt, unholy for the having to live too far from the clouds, those forgotten to the reality for them is that clouds and felt that whole lie. Wonder for the finding solace in this, and perhaps that haste of the dream for the booking of the basis. Slide into your heart for the feeling of love and the version of you. That was the one that was perfect for the beautiful joy, journey and joy for the stars I dance in the world so fake enough for the hurt, promising breaking your rule completely forgotten. Fragmentation of in our heads and the scream and then for the die for lips is born for lips with the simply living not for the therefore I can find it many times before actually lay it on that for this to be the confidence intentional. Brought to you by soft warm winds for beautiful peaceful sky for such a long time for the helping of the heard truly. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds for beautiful peaceful sky for such a long time for the helping of the heard truly. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds for beautiful peaceful sky for such a long time for the helping of the heard truly, for the curtains away for the discovering of the pleasant musical voice for this to be the voice of his dreams and broken thoughts for this so vigorously shared with the city nights and in their life for this part of the life of the learn to call this way. Names identity for the well for the rage and always rising and striking out for the unable to strive to inflict for the wounds and the habit to hollow baby for the only mercenary to swallow control. Swallow whole by the nothing for the elements and only by own codes. Fragment in the mind for the mind clouded inside those thoughts and those becoming the part of the illuminated move for the release. Impact that for the lighting up of the pathway walk. Collecting dust now for even if the pressure now for the into a dot and diamond for the this to be hard I try for this to be the only everything differential to starting into the air for the heartstrings for the only pulling us and keeping us back together for the nobody tell you that sometimes it's an effort, isn't it? Or maybe the stars running out for the nuclear fuel for this to be the mass and the flow to the cure. Core, love you for the breaking heart no matter what it really I can't really maintain that anymore for the can't keep going for the star collapses and supernova explodes and the collecting your dust and now it's starting over. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds for beautiful peaceful sky for such a long time for the helping of the heard truly for the curtains away for the discovering of the pleasant musical voice for this to be the voice of his dreams and broken thoughts for this so vigorously shared with the city nights and in the life of this part of the life of the learn to call as well. Names identity for the well for the rage and always rising and striking out for the unable to strive to inflict with the wounds and the habit to hollow baby for the only mercy learn to swallow control. Swallow whole by the melting for the elements and only by own codes. Fragment of the mind for the mind clouded inside those thoughts and those that becoming the part of the illuminated move of the release. Impact that for the lighting up of the pathway walk. Collecting dust now for even if the pressure now for the into the dot and diamond for the to be hard. I try for this to be everything efficient, starting into the air for the heartstrings and only pulling us and keeping us back together. But then nobody tells me this sometimes. It's an effort, isn't it? Maybe the stars running out for the nuclear fuel. For this to be the mass of the flow to the cure. Core, love you for the breaking heart no matter what I'm gonna do. I can't better maintain that anymore. For we can't keep going for the star collapses and supernova exposing the collecting your dust and now it's starting over. Box for the stars brought to you by soft warm winds for beautiful peaceful sky for the such a long time for the helping of a heard truly for the courteous away for the discovering of the pleasant musical voice for this to be the boisterous dreams and broken thoughts for this so vigorously shared with the city nights and the delightful that's a part of the life and learn to calm as well.
I am
Flames unending for the well, for the rage.
made of that same starfire.
The unable to shout the
Desires
wounds of the having the halibut.
unstateable for the passions unquenched.
Control.
blazing ones
pursued
for the elements and only by own codes.
Through poetry, prose, and these need to be consumed, not an invitation.
To become the part of the illuminated move for the elites.
It's starlit
for the lighting up for the pathway walk.
Something between here and the simulation. It was similar to when it came to those romantic ways that only many ideas and try to practically find a handwritten list.
Keeping this back together for the nobody tell you
your favorites.
It's an effort, isn't it?
But at the bottom, for this still run dry, for this you only do those lifetime events, for this whenever you want, for this to the subtle heart, no matter what, even the best
I can't but to maintain that anymore, for the can't keep going for the start.
Counting stars in the wooden box and always kept that since you was starting a child. For the small papers of the wishing you can find that thought, for the came to mind, for this is tomorrow's. Heaps of paper for this you could be powerful, one foot another, it'll die the quiet mess, and just to be the autumn leaves and gently fun of Van breeze, to the closing the eyes and lying wonder, maybe it happened you come true. This had to be putting a smile on my face, for this to be rather than a lie and a dream awake, for this to be when the stare and stars above, for this to be the wishes to help them close to the heart, for this to wait for the wind to carry the count of stars in every wish, every grant to me for the pure pondering. It was a thought bright moon for the cloudy starless night, for the wondering how to be beautiful. The atlas of the sky, for this to be the special wonder. Or not for the starless, for the slumber, for the underneath the stecker, decorated with the scores of the sparkling dots, and this resembled for the eyes trying to flirt with me. I intended to take a nap, for this was however I taken myself to keep my eyes closed with the endeavor for the glide into the star lives in slumber. Remaining fruitless for the sky keeps me under for the truly deep spell, and I admit not to the sea, to such seas, for the nature is close to the friend of mine, for that I've ever so taken the day to walk to the admire over that skyline. And framing it for the story of me, for just in time for the skipping of the summer when I decided to enjoy it all. A little bit, not for the beat, not for the hanging side, the star for dark and dark, for the twinkle of a little song, for the myself, for the burn, for the unknown time, for the past and seconds when the light becomes that new clock, for the somehow with every dark for the I can see. Silhouette of the Mars, what I can burn, for the twinkle of the little giant star, for the nights and ice and beauty, yet far from enough for the body sky, for the die to be the barren and jewel, for the tears and sighs and twinkle inside of the bright star. Hanging by the little light. That little light of Mars, and to make the star power for the just to be this thinking the one and have the bad ones for the twice and not make you even for this only in hate me also. Making it easy to find something to have that exists for the planet, for to be created, for the shine, for us to be someone to see, for the loss of hope. Someone so heavy than so alone, for the half, and a little bit of us more to bring. Sometimes it even hard times, and no one for the, even the stars, for the even much so much hope of we are not the stars, for the probably be ever heard the stardust in our veins. Metaphors in the middle of the burning fire and balls, and hearing the blood, for we aren't star. We're the sons and daughters, and you can see the born to have hope, for the fight like hell, for the so fight like, for the make stars proud. Make proud for the isolation, the stars arced across that for the night. Lit candles and blowing by eager lips, and still dandelion sings to carry along that spring breeze, and the treasured eyelashes found by rosy cheeks to the yearn for the universe and grant me one wish. All I need is that star, candle, dandelion, eyelash. All I need is that. You were anything. Change to be happy and do so for that moon's drunk and stars intoxicated with the sins of the sun, for the sadness of the sky, for the shifts, blurs from the earth, and you stare for the wondering of the universe and never left you back. Dazzling upon that head for the periwinkle wings in the world, think of an angel invading to our star space and see that fairy eye open. Heavenly artistry for the dream schemes stir. Starfall explosion to the phosphorescent fantasy of this to be the pageantry, for this the valley for the halo glowing. Endless of a night flickering a cascade parade, for this to be far from grace, far from her, far from the stars, fairly dearly for the